Okay, let's get into it for today. It's been a bit again. I know that, but we're slowly going to get into more frequent streams, hopefully. With that said, though, today I want to finish the Arsenal system. We are so close. All we need to do right now is to get the Arsenal manager menu, which is in front of us here, get that complete. It's there, we just need to sync it up, make a few changes, and the Arsenal system will be done. So that's the plan for today. We have about 2 hours to stream for today, so we're going to try to get it done, and we'll see where we go from there. The next stream, we're going to be looking into the player model and animations. Not going to be final, but I want to get them in. I want to start actually getting the gameplay feeling a little bit smoother with the animation so we can see how it's all actually going to feel when playing it. But that's for next stream. Today, let's jump into it and let's get the Arsenal manager menu all figured out. Before we start connecting up everything, there's a couple of style issues that I want to change. I think we're going to, because we have a big gap here, we can move the slime menu. We can have that a little bit longer. And that way as well, we can shrink this kind of just empty space that we filled with the darker color. So we can stretch that out a little bit. That'll be the first step. So let's do that now. All we need to do is essentially... Let's just get that up. All we need to do is change the size. So increase the width just a little bit. Say we could try maybe 850. Yeah, we could try 850 pixels, I think. And then the height, which is 100%, which is fine. All we need to do then is shrink the page cutter. So we'll do that, drop it down. I really don't want the page cutter to be really any much bigger than the top menu, like the navigation bar. So this is... I'm not sure if I can actually see it, because it's just an auto height, so it just goes with everything inside of it. But yeah, just in general, we just don't want it to be much bigger than that. So we could probably drop it that, maybe keep it at 30 pixels, I think. I'd say that looks decent. I mean, it's definitely better than it being thicker, right? And you have more access to the slime's description, which is fine. The other thing is we could, if we wanted to, I'm not sure if it would look good or not, but we could have like the slime menu centered. I'm not decided on that. I'm not a big fan of it centered, but at the same time, have it on the left. We do have a big gap that we could fill with something. Not sure what yet. With that said, though, I mean, realistically, I think we should just go left to right. It makes the most sense to me. And the left is pretty much done. You know, like obviously when we actually start getting UI assets in, you know, images, all of that, we'll change the slime icons potentially. We'll change the colors. We'll change, you know, all the images around it. But for now, I think this looks good enough, like the layout. So we should really just get straight into connecting up all of the data, I guess. That'll be the main thing. And the first step to do that is we need a manager menu, and we're going to need to rename this UI, because this should be a menu UI set, and we should be able to swap between our 4 tabs. So that'll be the first step. And let's do that now. Now, as far as where we're going to put this, I guess could go under the player UI, or it could go under its own folder. I think its own folder makes the most sense. It's kind of a standalone system when you think about it. We'll just call it menus. And let's bring our UI that we have already made, this manager menu UI, which I think we currently have under player, right? Yeah, just in a menus thing here. So let's move that out because we want to bring them into directly under just the assets folder. So we'll get rid of that. And now we have menus down here. And we're going to rename this because Arsenal Manager Menu UI. It means nothing, right? It shouldn't be the Arsenal Manager because I think we'll have one UI document for the whole menu. Maybe. I'm not too... I think so. I mean, we want it to be a consistent menu, right? So when you click on inventory or Arsenal, craft, map, or any other tabs that we have, it should just change this content here, which is the Arsenal page. So yeah, we'll have this under the one UI. So let's rename this. And we can just call it, what, player menu, I guess? Player menu UI. And we'll need to bring in... There should be an editor somewhere. Be under systems here. Nope. Oh, actually, no. I think this is just directly UI, isn't it? Okay, never mind. Yeah, no, we'll just keep that there. We'll rename the game object, though, definitely. Let's just call that, again, player menu. And make sure that's still all set up, which it is. Cool. So, we need to make a script for this. So, we'll create a UI folder, which we can chuck these two in. And then we'll create a script folder. And this scripts folder. And this will be our manager... menu manager. So that'll be a mono behavior script. We'll just call it menu manager. This player menu manager. We'll see. We might change the names as we go, but for now. And the script class cannot be found. That should be fine. Just let it compile. Sometimes the compilation steps are now broken because we have hot reload open. There we go, player menu manager. Now, we could put it under... Okay, yeah, I think it probably makes more sense to just have it directly under the player menu, right? Like, the main thing that we want to make sure that we are keeping consistent is everything for the player. Anything that the player interacts with should be connected to the player, right? This UI folder and the player, these two folders and game objects, they are the core central pillars that any player script should interact with. And the reason for that is when we go to make multiplayer, we're going to be making duplicates of the menus, right? We're going to be making a duplicate of the player. So we want all of that data to be held per player, not per game. So we'll have it under just player menu. And then let's open that up. So we're going to need a list of, I guess, every tab that we have. So let's just get a menu variables set, and we'll serialize the field. It will be a list of, I guess, visual elements, right? We'll see. but it's a list of visual elements called menu tabs. I think we do need the brackets. Nope. Okay, what's wrong with this? Pretty sure we do need the tabs, no? Oh no, it's just... Yeah, it's just the wrong using statement. That's fine. Okay. So we'll do menu tabs. Now, because it's through the UI builder, which I'm... As I always keep mentioning, I am not super familiar with it, but... we should see it. No? I mean, it's definitely serialized field. It could just be because it's a visual element, I guess. Let's just test with game object just to make sure that it's definitely showing. Yep. So what we're basically doing is we need to make a list of these here. This is Arsenal. We'll name it Arsenal tab. I think that's more appropriate. Ooh, not tap. Come on. Tab. Okay. Arsenal tab. So we need to get this in the list somehow. Not too sure how to do that because, again, I don't touch the... I just don't touch the UI builder much. So we need to... Yeah, we just need to get visual elements in a list. The other option is we could go just like pure string route, which would be you have your Arsenal tab here, and if we got the panel, which we should be able to get, then we could just search for Arsenal tab out of like a list of strings, basically. That is an option. I'm just trying to think of what would be the best system here. I mean, it's looking like, I guess, we just get everything from the root. The UI build up, I will say, sometimes it's been great. Sometimes, especially when trying to connect it to mono behavior, it's just not it. In that case, then all we need to do is get the root, which we've done here before. That one's... Yeah, we just need the UI document, right? UI document, we'll just call it menu UI. And then on start, we're going to go get. Essentially, we're going to build like a dictionary, right? So this can be private. And this one will be a dictionary of a string. That'll be the name of the menu. That'll be what we're calling. And then we'll have a visual element, which will be your tab, essentially. And we'll just call this menu tabs. Then all we need to do is switch the tabs, basically. So first we need to go get the tabs, which we can just get through root. So, you know, I think we have to do it for each individual tab. Right now we only have the Arsenal tab, so that'll be easy. We just need to remember we need to re-add this every time. So we'll go ahead and just get the get tab containers, I think. We just need to have a differentiation in the code, right? Because you're going to have the tab buttons, which is what you're pressing, and then you'll have the tabs. But for now, we just need to get the tab containers, and that'll be pretty simple. That'll just be menu tabs, and we'll go with the Arsenal tab, which we need to do double. I've been doing web design where I'm used to single quotes now. And we do need to get the root first. Let's do that. Get root element. And we'll get the panel element, because Arsenal tab is under panel. Unless we're... I'm not actually sure if root queries can skip a level. That might be one thing to look into. Not sure. I think that, yeah, that'll definitely be something to look into. But for now, let's just get the panel element. It'll be easy enough, right? Panel element. Which all of these are visual elements. I really don't like doing variables, like vars. So we'll just stick to visual element. And panel element will just be root query a visual element called panel, which I believe we have it in capitalization. Yep. And from here, we just go panel element, query a visual element, and that visual element being the Arsenal tab. Arsenal tab. Yep. Cool. Easy enough. So now, what we're going to do, and we should probably have a default, so we'll deal with that at some point. But first, we need to basically be able to switch tabs. So let's make a variable first. That'll be easiest. Sorry, not a variable, a function. I think that'll be a public void, because we'll be calling it from the buttons that we have set up. So we'll go tab name, and that'll be, again, the string in the menu tabs dictionary. So let's go ahead and hide all of the panels. So for each panel in menu tabs. So hide all tabs. What am I saying? Tab, and yeah, we'll just hit the display, which will be a display style of none. And then show the selected tab. So that'll be as simple as if the panel, so if the menu tabs, we need to try to get the tab name, right? So tab name, and we'll send that out as a visual element, call it selected tab. Then we'll just essentially restyle it, which will be changing. I'm not sure what our display mode on these are right now. I'm not sure if they're... I don't know where it shows. I think they're just all flex, to be honest. Because, like, you can just immediately start flexing them, right? You know, you can start having them on the same row, essentially. So I think, by the looks of it, that they'll just be of a type flex, I guess. So display the selected tab, which would just be selected tab, style display. And this one is display style dot. Oh, okay. No, yeah, it's literally just flex. Makes sense, I guess. It's just flex or none. So yeah, they don't have. I do web design, so I'm used to, you know, you got options like block. There's a whole heap of others, but flex and none makes it easy. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, what we'll need to do, obviously, is when you click on one of these buttons, it'll highlight that button. So we will need to add that class to it, which here, selected page button we have. So we'll just need to do the same thing we did, but instead of just the tab containers, we'll get the tab buttons as well. And we'll just get the tab buttons. We'll put that in another dictionary, I think. Dictionary. Ooh. Let's not delete everything. Tab buttons. Okay. So we got our tab buttons, then pretty much the exact same as menu tabs, which I think there's definitely a more efficient way to do this, so we will probably come back to this. But for now, this would work. So we'll just put in the tab buttons the arsenal as well, and that'll be panel element, query, visual element. And what we actually need to do is we're going to need to get the toolbar, which I'm going to rename that because that is not a good naming convention. We just name it navigation bar. That's what I'm used to with web design. So navigation bar is the bar where you're obviously navigating between the tabs. So we'll get the navigation bar, and then we can query all of the buttons from there. So let's go ahead and get a navigation bar element. Which would just be the panel element querying a visual element called navigation bar. And then when we get the tab buttons, we go from the navigation bar element, and we'll get, it should just be arsenal button, I believe, is what we're calling that. Yep, it'll just be name a tab, button, Whereas here's name of tab, tab. Makes it easy to understand. So that should be fine. We just change that to button. There we go. I'm just checking the quality of my stream, making sure the bitrate's good. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we'll change the actual styling of this, like of the button. All we need to do though, this one's really easy. We can clear that. This one's really easy. All we have to do is basically disable the class. So we have a class selected page button, and then apply the class to the new selected menu. As simple as that. So that will be easy. We'll just do the same thing that we did here for each tab, is disable or remove this selected tab class from each tab. And that will be for each button in tab buttons. That is definitely not how you spell tab buttons. There we go. We need to go... Actually, no, yeah. We do need full brackets, I think, for this one. Because what we need to do is... Yeah, we need to apply a class. So I need to remember how to do that. I'm not sure if we apply that directly to a button or to a visual element, but we'll see. What we need to do... Let's see. Let's forget about commenting while we just try to make sure that I can actually apply a class. I can. Remove from class list. And it was just selected page button. We might rename that because we're using the word tab now. I think it's just it's a cleaner, more consistent way to say a page, right? A tab, more of a universal understanding. Remove selected class. I mean, we might not need that if we're not going to use these brackets, which I don't think we need to. So we should be able to go directly from the tab button. Let's just see why. Oh, tab buttons dot values. That makes sense. Then yeah, we can just... We don't need the brackets. Don't need them. Display the selected tab, and then... Yeah, we'll also need to show... we'll put that... I'm just thinking for consistency. We'll do the button. Oh, actually, you know what? Better consistency. Keep the stuff for the tabs together. Keep the stuff for the buttons together. I think that makes sense. So let's go ahead and just show selected tab button, or I guess add selected tab class to button from each tab button. So if the tab buttons try get value, still the same tab name, right? And that'll be what's keeping everything consistent. Then for every button, and we just add the class. Add the class list, and it is selected page button, like so. And I don't think we need the brackets for this either, so let's get rid of them. Cool. That should theoretically work. Now all we need to do is connect that function to the buttons, which will be the next question on how we actually do that, I guess. You got an editor binding path, but that's not going to be it. View data key, no. might be the binding path. Not sure. Because what we're gonna want to do is essentially every time you click a button, it's gonna show up, like it's gonna run that function. Usually, it's a very simple system, right? Because if you have a button, you can just do on-click. But we're not using direct buttons because we're using the UI builder, which I just have to get used to because it's still very annoying. Very, very annoying. That's for sure. So let's see. Let's just search up how to do this. I mean, one way seems to be I can just set up like an on-click function in the start function, I guess. That might be the best way to do it. There's not too much documentation I've found for the UI builder, especially not like when it comes to functionality. So it's hasn't been a great time learning it, that's for sure. UI builder. On click. Yeah, it's looking like we just need to set up on click in script, I guess. I mean, that's fine. It is actually really easy to do it. Yeah. That looks to be how we're gonna have to do it. That's fine. It should be easy, right? Because we already have every single Arsenal button here, right? So we just add each function, basically. Which I think the easiest way to do that would be running a for each loop over the tab buttons. Now that we've added in all of the different tabs like Arsenal button. So for each button in the tab buttons, sorry, there we go. Then all we should have to do is go button clicked, I think, something like that, and then we can run switch tab. And what we need to do, what we should actually, I need to remember how to do key value pairs in a for each loop. It'll be, can I just go straight into it? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Let's for each C# key and value dictionary. Key value pair, right? Key value pair string button, and we'll just call that button data, I guess. So we'll get the button data key. That'll be the name. Close that off, and we're applying this to button data dot value, which will be the actual button itself. So that should theoretically work, and that should switch the tabs. So the best way to test this out is going to be, let's disable the Arsenal tab by default. We got nothing here. And we need to make sure that we still have the actual player, like the cursor appearing, which means we just need to disable that from the player movement script. Or no, character controller, sorry. Here, and we'll remove the locked state just so that we can test this out. In fairness, we'll probably move that lock state somewhere at some point anyways. But for now, when we hit play, we should now be able to select Arsenal. Like, none of these work right now. We select Arsenal. We do have errors. Was that from that? Oh, we didn't apply the UI. That makes sense. We're going to change that because we can make that all happen on start. We don't need to manually apply a UI thing. 23. What? It didn't find navigation bar. Let's see. Can I? There we go. Navigation bar is inside of panel. Navigation bar. I don't know why that's not being found, or is it's not finding... I guess it's not finding Arsenal button? Inside of here, let's just copy that name. Nope, they're the same name, so that's not an issue. I don't know why that's not finding it. Because it's clearly finding panel fine. And I guess it is finding navigation bar element fine, right? Because it's 23, which is setting it by finding Arsenal button. So I guess we're not finding button, right? So the question becomes, is this a type button? Should be. Yeah. Type button. So why does it not work? And also, why does it have a border? We don't need borders here. Well, we should be able to just unset or set this to Arsenal. And the border still shows interesting. Does page button not have a border set? It shouldn't. There we go. Okay, that works. So we need to find the Arsenal button. I don't know why that's not finding it. Are we searching through the navigation bar? We are. Like, the only real option here is it's not finding of type button. Oh, and the name has changed now, but... Hold up. It was Arsenal button. Let's make sure that it still is. And let's re-hit play. And just check that. Nope. It can't find it. This is why I don't work with new stuff like the UI builder. It's not even new, in fairness. I will say that. It's not new, but new to me. I mean, it should be finding Arsenal button if it's there. So it's got to be button type. Is it something to do with the specific type of button? Like, if we did that, okay. And that's from UI and UI element. So we just added it from UI. So let's... Okay, no, UI elements is where visual element comes from. So this should be UI element then. I don't see why that wouldn't work. We can just try a debug log, I guess. Navigation bar element. Children. I don't think this is actually going to show the children name. Let's... Let's just find the second child. Can I do that through an index number? Doesn't seem to want to let me. We try converting it to a string, if that's gonna do anything. I doubt it. Yeah, no, it's just gonna tell you. Okay. Let's just run a for each debug log then. Dot children. Then we can just debug log the item name. Okay. Let's see if this results in anything. Okay. So we are finding Arsenal button. I don't know why it's not detecting then. Unless it's... Is it not detecting tab buttons Arsenal? That could maybe be it. I don't know why that would be a problem. That's okay. Well, if we are getting the Arsenal button, then what we should theoretically be able to do is get a query for Arsenal button. I think the other thing to test is not just the item name, but the item type. Get type. So let's see what this shows us. Because if we can get the type, surely it is button. Yeah, it's a UI. Okay, no, yeah, we're definitely finding it. Okay. It's definitely this then, just applying it to the dictionary. That's no problem then. That should be an easy fix. We'll just add Arsenal like that. It is what it is. This should work fine. I guess we can't directly call through through squared brackets, like just directly set it if it doesn't exist. Which, in fairness, I guess makes sense. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure you can do that in like JavaScript. And my mind's been on JavaScript for a long time now because I do web design on the side, so like I've been working on that all day yesterday and part of today. That still doesn't want to work. Okay, I feel like I'm just going crazy now. What is... Like, we're definitely... Yeah, it's... What? Like, we're able to find Arsenal button. So why are we not able to do this? We're directly adding... Unless, actually, you know what? I might just be dumb. And we need to set it anew. I think I might just be dumb. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any errors. Okay. Looks like I was just dumb. But we left click that. The selected icon does show, so that's good. But the tab itself is not showing. So we need to figure that out still. Let's have a look. We're getting tab name, which is just Arsenal. Which should be fine then. So we're adding in from Arsenal name, which is both of these. Then it should be setting the panel tab to flex. Which should be fine. Changing from display to display. We can try that again, just in case. Arsenal. Like, it definitely is going to select it, it's just not showing the panel. So let's have a look here. So this is what we're hiding, right? And we're just changing, we're changing display. That's it. We had visibility set to off, not display off. Okay, this should work. And we can just say that it's first try, because my stream, my rules. Okay. Select Arsenal. There we go. Now we have our Arsenal tab open. We can get to displaying the information. Good. Now let's go ahead and re-enable the Arsenal tab just so that we can actually work on it. And what we need to do then is when we go to switch the tab, we need to display the data of that tab. So I think we're just going to have to run a switch statement, I imagine. That's probably the easiest thing. We can make an individual functions, maybe, for displaying each thing. So, like, display inventory, display Arsenal, I guess. That way we just keep the code a little bit separated. So we'll go display Arsenal. That could be private. Display Arsenal. And we'll just run a big switch statement, which is display tab data, right? So we'll just do a big switch name of the tab name, and we'll start with Arsenal because, again, we only actually have the Arsenal tab right now. Case Arsenal. There we go. Okay. Display Arsenal. Cool. Now we need to get all of the Arsenal information so that we can display it, right? Because we got all of this to show. Let's start. Like I said before, we're going to start left and make our way slowly to the right. So we're going to start with all of our slimes, which we already have set up directly in our Arsenal manager. So we just need to get the player, Arsenal manager, and display the information. So let's do that. I think before we start, though, what we want to do is fix up the fact that the menu UI was being set publicly, because we don't need that, right? Like, all we have to do here is get menu UI, because it's on the same game object. And if it's on the same game object, we should be setting it directly in the get start, or like the start function, because that's really all you need to do, right? Get component UI document, and that'll get this one here. That'll get that. That's all we need to do. Now let's go get the data. So this can actually be a public menu. We can go Arsenal variables. No, we don't need Arsenal menu. Well, we need player variables, I guess. We get the player transform, and that'll be serialized because we'll need to get that publicly. And then through that, we can go ahead and get the Arsenal Manager. And the reason why we're doing it this way is because we only need to access the Arsenal Manager in Display Arsenal. The rest of this script, all of this, every other function is not going to need the Arsenal Manager, so we should get it directly in Display Arsenal function. We'll just get the Arsenal Manager from here. Get the players Arsenal Manager. And the reason why it's get the players, just as a consistency thing, is because when we go to add in the multiplayer, there'll be multiple players stuff. So we're just trying to make it a little bit consistent. So it'll just be get component Arsenal Manager. Cool. And what we're also going to need to do is getting all of the actual UI itself, right? We have the team viewer, which will be the main thing. And I guess this would be the right time to check if we can actually just go straight to team viewer, or like go into the data. But we'll see. We have the Arsenal tab. We already have that because of our dictionary. And then we'll just get the team viewer, and then for each team viewer, run a for each loop through the Arsenal. So let's get the team viewer, I guess, which is a visual element. So that's easy enough. It'll just be team viewer, which is the we'll go menu tabs Arsenal, and that's all we need. So for each slot, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. For each slot in the team viewer, display the slime that's in the Arsenal. And then let's go write the actual code for that. In team viewer. Team viewer dot children. There we go. And actually what we should be doing, sorry, just as a, yeah, I think what makes sense, because we're going to be doing like essentially 2 for loops, right? Because you need to get the index of the actual slime in the Arsenal and of the team viewer. So we can do that just through a regular for loop instead of a for each. So I is less than team viewer child count. Then that'll make it just a lot easier, because all we need to do now is get the data of the slime, right? Get slime data, which maybe we can just do it through slime data. Let's see. Is the Arsenal Manager, I just need to remember what we're actually running code-wise, is why is this just treating it like a transform? We should be getting, I mean, this is directly an Arsenal Manager. Arsenal Manager should just have an Arsenal thing. That could be, it probably is this here. Let's make that public. We'll actually hide it in the inspector, because you don't need to be able to edit the Arsenal in the inspector. There's no need for that. So we can make that public. And now we should be able to directly get the Arsenal. And we just get slot at index I. And that's our slime data. Easy enough. Next, we need to go for every single slime button. We need to get the icon, details, name, type, description. Okay. So let's start by getting the slime button itself. which I actually don't know. Did we make that a button? Oh, yeah, we definitely made it a button, not a visual element. So that makes that easy. We just go button. Slime button is the team viewer. Children at index I. Or children at index I. Nope. I enumerable. Is that not? Is that not it? Let's see. We're converting visual element to button. For team viewer, all of its children are buttons. So what we need to do, I guess, is convert it into a button, like so. Easy enough. Now we have a slime button. Let's just start editing everything. So first we'll go get the slime icon and then change it. So get slime icon, which is a visual element. Which we can just query for, call it slime icon, which I believe is what we called it, right? Yep, slime icon. And the way this is set is just through an image. So let's set this to none, because we're going to set it ourselves. So this will be an easy way to test if it's working, essentially. And we'll do that for all of them. And I should mention, if there is no slime, it shouldn't show anything. So we definitely need to make a catch for that, so that we're not getting any errors. So all we have to do there is essentially, if the slime data, connect that, if the slime data is empty, skip. That's all we have to do. And we just do that through a continue. So we have our slime icon, then set the slime icon. As simple as that. We might even, just because we don't need so many comments, we'll just set slime icon. Easy to understand what we're doing. Slime icon dot style image, background image, is equal to the slime data slime type, because that's where we'll have all of our data, and we should have an icon option. So let's save that, and let's see what happens. So this should have nothing until we press the Arsenal button. Player menu manager has not been assigned. Okay. Let's assign that. And now let's try it. Okay. Select Arsenal. Specific cast not valid. Yeah, I had a feeling that that's not going to work. Let's see. So we have our team viewer. We're getting it at the index number. So all we should need to do is get it as a button, which it's not automatically doing it. Let's see. Because it wants to stay as a visual element when we need it as a button, right? That's what it is. I mean, unless we can skip it. I mean, frankly, we could set it just as var. We could just do a var. I personally am not a big fan of vars. I like to have structured data to know exactly what type it is. But in this case, I don't think it technically matters. So let's see. We're going to click on Arsenal. And our slime's going to show in the first slot, which is exactly what we want. Awesome. Okay. Next, we just need to start going through all of the other data then. So we have our slime icon. So the next will be the slime name. Hello, RK. How are you going? I know, by the way, before you mention, I know that the stream may be a bit late. Again. We're getting there. I promise we're getting there. Let's see. So we need to set the slime name, so that'll be easy enough. Set slime name. And it'll be the exact same thing. Visual element. Yeah. How much is this game going to be? I do not have a number on it. Like, it really depends just on the scale that the game ends up being, right? That's the main thing. So, most likely, the game will probably be targeted at, you know, I mean, it's an indie game, right? So it could be targeted at anywhere from, like, $15 to like $30. And that, by the way, I would say 30 is probably near the cap. And to be clear, that's $30 Australian. So like for the US, for example, that's $20 US. But again, like I really don't have a direct number in mind yet. It's a label. There we go. And then we'll do the slime type as well, which will just be another label. There we go. We don't have a description yet, so, I mean, we'll just have to... I mean, we'll create a description variable, I guess it'll just be empty for a bit. But let's see if this works. Let's make sure we're actually zoomed out. Press Arsenal. There we go. We have Slimy, the basic slime. Beautiful. Then let's add, we'll add a description. Let's go over to a basic slime type. We can check that out. So let's add a public string, unless there's another. I think string's gonna be the best thing. Description. If I were to describe it, would it be correct to say that this game has Palworld playstyle, Slime Rancher's art style, and the lore of Slug Tower? I think the lore is... The lore is a unique story, right? Like, there's not anything directly related, but what I would say is the Subnautica series, especially Below Zero, is probably similar in, like, the idea that you are a researcher. And to be clear, I don't know if you've played this, but Subnautica Below Zero, when it first released, that game's story was that you were actually already down on the planet. You were like a researcher or something. They changed it so that, you know, you're just there trying to look for your sister, but before you were a researcher. As far as art style goes, it's a mix. It's not like directly Slime Rancher, what I would say is if we go Slime Rancher art style and when was art style? It's a mix between the two, right? I would say Slime Rancher's brightness, right? Like bright colors, you know, more cartoonish, with Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and Bad Batches. I don't know if there's going to be a good example. Sort of. Where you can actually see like the brush strokes going along the form of the model. That would be the art style, is the mix between those two. Gameplay-wise, I would say it's fair to say that the gameplay is probably close-ish to a mix between Power World, Slime Rancher, and really any first-person survival game, right? So, you know, think your Subnauticas, think Grounded. Grounded and Grounded 2 are big inspirations for the type of game as well. So I'd say generally those type of gameplay styles, a mix between them all. Okay. So we have a description. I want to be able to add line gaps. So let's see if there's a way to do that directly in Unity. Okay, so I guess text area, and then I think 4 or something. Is that it? No. Text area attribute. Okay. There we go. Let's just see if that worked. So now I should be able to get the basic slime type. Yeah, and we'll have a description text box here. Awesome. Let's go ahead and add that into the menu when we switch to Arsenal then. Set the slime description. Go and set the text to slime data, slime type, description. That should just work. And then we'll go ahead and delete this. The Arsenal looks quite good. Yeah, I think the Arsenal's actually turning out pretty well. I think there's still some layout changes that we might make over time, but I think it definitely as like a first pass as well. I think it's really nice. And then we'll just, you know, make whatever changes we need to as we go. But we can delete these descriptions now and maybe just add 3 dots, I guess. And that text should be top aligned. Let's fix that. Top aligned. The 3 dots just makes it a bit clearer that there will be text there. Which I think just looks a little bit nicer. And set text dot dot dot. There we go. Slime name, slime type, 3 dots. We might change that. I don't know if I like the 3 dots, to be honest. We'll see. At the hardest part of the arsenal, the base code is done, I guess. That is correct, yeah. So as far as the arsenal goes, it's done. Like, the only two things left for me to do, which we're going to be finishing up in this stream, well, outside of one key feature, right? The only thing left, when you click on your slime on the left menu, the right will pop up with all the stats. That's the next step. We've just got all the data working, so now we're just going to add that. After that, the only thing that we still need to add, functionality-wise, are the 4 abilities that the slimes have. But we just can't add that yet, because like, we can make it look nicer, I guess, but we actually need slime abilities, right? So that's less of an arsenal thing and more of just, we need to go get abilities. So we're going to do that. We're basically going to just leave the abilities panel until later. And when we add abilities, we'll do that. Which I mentioned at the start of this stream. What is written in the description. It'll just be some text around, you know, what the slime is, I guess. It's based on the slime type. So, you know, for a basic slime, it'll just say the basic slime, where can it be found? Like, its habitat, its personality, you know, just general things, the color of it, all of that stuff. I just haven't actually written anything yet, so for now, we get gaps or missing stuff, but yeah. One should be bounce. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so what I mentioned at the start of the stream is that the next stream, which I really shouldn't be promising when it is, just given my track record, which I think you'll agree to. But the next stream, which should be soon, I will say I finished a major update on Abound Worlds, which was one of my big projects that I've been doing, which is like a template system. So now you can create templates. That was a big time sink, and I finished that at 10 p.m. yesterday, which is why I wanted to stream the day before, and I was still working on this feature. And then yesterday I got it done at 10 p.m. and I just wanted to go to bed. So that's done now, though. So hopefully soon. But the next stream will be focused on getting player animations in. Getting like a basic player model, at least for the arms, right? Like an arm model so you can see it as you're holding the slime to throw. That way we have some level of polish. As well as I want to make another slime type and, you know, start getting some of the ability systems done. So we'll get there. As soon as it comes out, at least once a week, you are good. Yes. At least once a week. I think this stream was 1 day late. Like, I think it was 8 days since the last one. So we just missed once a week for this time. But one of my projects is done for now. So it should be better. But we'll start working on abilities pretty much from next stream and the stream after that and so on. As well as some animation polish and all that. Okay. We need to make it so when we click on a slime, and I'm less happy with the 3 dots than I thought. We're going to just remove that. But when we click on our slimes on the left, if the slime exists, then we will show the data on the right. Which means that this tab here, the information panel, needs to, by default, be displayed off. So let's just make sure all of our changes are made before we do that. So we'll make the width 100%. And I think that's good. The height, we'll leave it at 200 pixels for now. Date tamed, we'll just give that a gap, I guess. Last one was last Monday. Was it Monday? Oh, we might have actually made it for for every week then. Okay, no, yeah, okay. 3 weeks ago, 12 days ago, 6 days ago, and now. Okay, I think we made it for the week. That's good. I thought I was a day late. Okay, I think that stuff's good for now. So let's go ahead and hide the information panel. So just change the display. And now it looks very empty. That's the thing that you want to try to avoid. So I'm not sure if we're going to do anything here or not. But for now, it's empty. So we got our information panel. And we need to make, when we select the slime, or when we select the button, that it'll pop up. So we need to create some functionality here. Let's see. Just trying to think on how we do it. Because this script is for the entirety of the player menu. So you don't want to clutter like the entire start menu with just Arsenal stuff. So it could just be in display Arsenal, I guess. The issue is you want to make sure that you're not adding the function to display slime data multiple times, which I think should be fine. But what we'll do, we can actually keep it in this for loop. That actually probably makes it really easy. Let's go show the data for the slimes. And we can put that in a region like so. Yeah, I like the gap. And then make another region for, this one will be, I guess, add click functionality. Okay. So we already have the button because it's just directly in TeamViewer. So I guess we just go TeamViewer. Okay, no, yeah, it's not gonna let us keep it. Some like I work in a mix of Visual Studio Code and Visual Studio. So, and sometimes having hashtag region works where it should be like a separate tab level for everything inside. Sometimes not. I think JavaScript is a tab, Python's not. I guess C# not. You're doing good work. Thank you very much. We're getting there. Slowly and steadily, but we are getting there. Once we start getting like the actual level made up, like the first area, then it'll start to really look nice, you know? Okay, we need to get... Can I convert it? We can try converting, but last time we did converting, it did not work, so we'll see. Is there no... There should be a clicked option. Where's my clicked option? Actually. No, this isn't gonna work, right? No. How do I convert it? We need to make it into an actual button type. It's saying I can cast directly, but last time we did that, it broke. Maybe we can try it again, I guess. We can... No, yeah, that definitely didn't work the last time we did that. If I do it without setting anything, it's the functionality is not even going to show. Ah, this is so annoying. Yeah, because that's just dot click directly on the button, so we can't convert it. Is there a better way? As like that, I guess. We'll see if that works. If we can set that, then what we'll do is we'll just move this get line and move it up to the top, like so. Because then all you'd have to do is set clicked. If we can just do it like an equals, that would be really good. Instead of adding a clicked functionality. I mean, we can make it just run a loop for now just to see if that works. Would you add a level that reminds of Canada? And I mean the Canada beyond the smile and sigh. Maybe. It'll be an interesting thing. I think the world design is going to be definitely the most interesting thing visually, because the world's going to be a mix of natural and caves, right? So the bigger the pain of work, the bigger the sense of accomplishment. That is true. So like if we went, you know, cave vegetation, right? You're going to get things like mushrooms, right? Like right on the outskirts of a cave, you get your moss and some plants. And then when you get actually with no light, you'll just get big cave mushrooms. And we'll kind of have a mix of that and some grass and actual plant life like you'd see on the overworld as well. Because the way that my system works, or the way that the game world will work, is similar to... let me see if I can find it. There was an expansion. Yeah, I think that right here. This is an underground map from World of Warcraft. And they have... I think that was a big crystal, right? They have like a big crystal or something, and it lights the whole area, kind of like it's daytime. I like that idea. I'm not going to have a big crystal like this, but I'm going to have like the roof of it very bright, you know, similar to Kong as well. What is it? Kong... I don't remember what the inside's called. Inner Earth? What? Hollow Earth. Sorry, there we go. Hollow Earth. Hollow Earth is also somewhat similar, where you got like... You have something that gives sunlight, right? If it gives sunlight, then you can have some natural plants. So we're going to kind of have a mix of them all. You can make a safe area and place a place with a big glowing mushroom. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you remember Slugterra at all, their base itself was kind of like a big mushroom. Like, not too big. This is a tiny one. But you could do it like that, but way bigger. And kind of have like a really cool, kind of nice meadows area. Have some big trees that are mushrooms and stuff. There's a lot we can do. So it'll be really cool once we actually figure out everything that we want to do. Okay, yeah, we're going to have to... We can only plus equals a display arsenal then. we'll see. I'm not a big fan of this. If we can only add, we'll see though. So what we need to do is go to the Arsenal manager, I guess. I see it now. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool once we start getting the maps done. The maps is up once we finish the Arsenal. Once we get some animations in, then I make the first devlog video, like a proper devlog of everything that we've done. After that, then we'll go ahead and get started on the map. Okay, look, we could say get slime data. I don't like it being in the Arsenal manager script, but I feel like it should be. Which definitely should not be called get slime data. This will be for the Arsenal manager, like the Arsenal tab, so I guess. Get. I don't know what to call it. We'll leave it at slime data for now. Get slime data. Get slime data. Like so. Does that work? An object reference is required for an unstatic field. No, that's not going to work. I think it's because it's mono behavior that it's not going to work. Oh, that's annoying. I mean, we can add a function here. I just don't want to clutter player menu manager with so many different so many different functions for every single tab and every function of every tab. I think we're gonna split it. We're gonna make like a like an Arsenal menu tab, I guess. For now, just to get it in, we can leave it in player menu manager. We just have to remember that we need to go back. We need to make sure that we are definitely fixing this. I might do that off stream. We'll see. Depends on if I get the time. I don't like doing things off stream because I feel like it's more fun if everyone's involved in the full creation of the game. I feel like that'd be cool, but who knows? So get slime data, and then, you know, that'll just be the exact same thing. In fact, what we should do is we should get slime data with index of I. So we'll make an index. And then that way, all we have to do, get the team viewer. Wait, is that even... Wait. Team viewer, menu tab, Arsenal. Did I code that right? The thing I never understand is why does English have so many different ways to say one letter like A? That's a good question. The English just has expanded a lot very quickly. Like, we have English rules, they just don't apply. Like, I mean, so if someone makes up a random word or a random way to say a letter, you know, you'll go, okay, that's really random. But if they can convince enough people to say it, all of a sudden that's just added to the language, even if it defies all the rules of the language, which is not good. But you know, that's what happens. Okay, I feel like I didn't code this right. Team viewer is just menu tabs Arsenal. Menu tabs Arsenal is the Arsenal tab. Why is that? That is not the team viewer. I don't get this. It's just... I mean, I'm pretty sure it was working, but I want to make sure that we're definitely having the right code there. I don't know why that was just getting the whole Arsenal tab itself. But okay. So get the team viewer, which will be the exact same code. Menu tabs. Arsenal. And we'll just query. No. Oh. Query the team viewer. Arsenal index, that's what we'll call it. Get the players, Arsenal manager. Actually, no. Sorry, what am I even doing? I'm not. I feel like I'm making this way more complicated. We'll move this up because if there's no slime data, we don't need a button functionality, right? So move that up. Then maybe not. I don't know. I'm very indecisive. This is not good. We'll keep these separate for now. I mean, if we're gonna move these to separate files at some point, then we might as well keep them separate code, I guess. I'll just run get component Arsenal manager again, and then we can just get the slime data again. So, you know, get slime data. And we'll just use that index directly. And if the slime data is empty, we're not actually going to skip. For now, we'll skip, but essentially what we'll do is we'll delete the data. Or, we'll see. But most likely, we'll skip this, which is actually just running return. Because when you press the button, so many decisions, so little room to choose, that is true. When you press the button, it should show the data. If there's no slime here, and you try to press the button, I mean, there's no data to show, right? So you kind of get one of two options. When you press a button that has no data, it could clear the information, so it's just empty again. Or it just does nothing. Like, you just keep pressing it and nothing happens. I think either way is fine. I don't really think there's an issue with either or. So for now, we'll just have it do nothing, but we might have it clear the data in the future. We'll see. So now we have our slime data. What we need to do is start going through all of the information again. But this time, we're not doing it through the slime button. Instead, we're going to be doing it through... Let's just close that. Through the information panel, which is directly under the Arsenal tab. So that's easy enough. All we have to do is go get... Let's say get Arsenal tab at the top. Like so, and then we'll just run this query for the team viewer directly through that. No, sorry, the Arsenal tab through that. It is good until a speedrunner uses it to beat the game. That's true. I mean, hey, I will say, if you ever get a game that is popular enough that people are speedrunning it, you should be happy. You know, if they find out a bug that completely destroys the game and they finish it in a second, it is what it is. I mean, that reminds me of, there was a game, it was like a SpongeBob game, I think, which released, and then that day, or like the day after, they came out with a speedrun, which finished it in like 4 minutes or something, which was insane. Okay, so we have our information panel. So now all we have to do is start setting all of the data again. Which is actually easy. We might as well just copy the code, frankly. And we'll just change everything to information panel. And make sure that we get it all correct. Slime name, slime type, slime description. Name, type, description. Should be good. Stats wise, we don't have anything for the stats yet because we don't actually have a taming system done, so there's no way to know when the slime was tamed yet. So we'll just leave that as empty. So that'll be fine, and we'll just we'll display the information panel. Show information panel. The good thing is that they pay you to find the glitches. Yeah. That's true. Speedrunners are the best way for a developer to figure out what bugs are in their game. The only issue with the speedrunning is that you figure it out a little bit too late because the game's already out, but at least you somewhat figure it out at some point, I guess. Display flex. Cool. Let's see if that works. Okay. So we go to the arsenal. Oh, wait, we need to actually get into game view. Okay. We go to arsenal. Arsenal. Where's my slime's not showing up anymore? Why is my slime not showing up? I can't even tell. We might need to hide the player menu. I'm not sure if the. Okay, yeah, that slime wasn't showing up in the menu for a second because like it wasn't even showing up on the left side. Okay, arsenal. There we go. We have slimy. If I select a normal slime that we don't have, there we go. Index is outside of the range. Shouldn't be. Let's check that out. Index of 6. What index am I passing through? Maybe that, I guess. When that makes sense. Nope. Oh, actually, sorry, the function's already been cleared. Let's hit play and see if that fixes it. Okay. That fixes it, but the indexes, they're all on index 5. That's not what they should be on. So let's see why that's happening. Setting the clicked thing to get slime data of I, and I is always changing, I guess. So there's 2 ways to change this, I think, but what if we said, you're too late only then when someone makes a documentary about the glitch. Yep. That's how it always goes, isn't it? Let's see. Lost in the loop. So the issue right now is essentially this is setting the function that's going to get the slime data for the tab, and it's passing in the index number that we're currently on, right? So that'll be index 0 for the first slime, 2 for the next 3, and so on. But for some reason, what's happening is that it's only giving it the last index, so 5. Every single button is 5. So we're just needing to fix that. Which, what I would have to say is we would just set the index outside of the loop. But I'm just having a look online, seeing if there's a different way to do it. If the game is bad, then make it so bad that it is good. That's how you get it done. It's the big risk that you take as an indie developer, though, right? Is your game could be really bad. And, you know, what are you going to do about it? Either you just keep making it even worse, or at least the thing is, you don't want to make the game worse, you want to make the game dumber, right? That's, I think, the main thing for making a bad game fun. Like, things like Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator, the goat and the physics was a bug. But they didn't just make the game worse, make the physics worse. They were like, let's just go dumber. What if the game's just purely about that bug then? And like you're just a goat running around with bad physics. And that makes it a fun game. But if they tried to just make their game as it was, I don't know what their plan was. Could have been a whole story thing, you never know. But just with bad physics and then make the game worse and worse, that's not good. I think dumb is the way to go, especially for indie developers. Let's just try. We'll make test I 0, test I ++, and set this to test I. Let's just see if this works or not. So we're setting the index outside of the for loop. The question is, will it stick to the new value or not? It's actually going to stick to no value. That's so not useful. Okay. What I would... Oh, wait. Hold up. Select Arsenal first. Then we select that. Still all 5. Okay. It's still all 5. People like dumb and simple things. Absolutely. 1000%. If you can make it dumb, but mind-numbingly dumb, you'll get a hit of a game. And you'll make a ton of money. Okay, so we need to... I don't know, if we can't set I... Let's see. If I were to just grab this... But they go crazy over dumb things that are simple. Yeah. Pretty much. Do I have to like make I local? Like I'm used to okay, yeah, we just have to make I local. So actually we keep it in the for loop, I guess. Make a test I directly in here, like that. Because the issue is we're running a Lambda function with this here, which is just not working properly. Let's see if this works. So we're going to select the Arsenal tab. 1, 2, 3. Okay. There we go. And no errors, which is good. Let's also check if I hit Arsenal tab a few times. Then we run it. Yeah, okay, it's gonna run multiple times like I thought, which is a problem. The only way to fix that is to, like, clear. Is there a way to clear? Can I clear dot clicked? Dot on click? Can I hard set that maybe? This is the issue when if we're just directly adding. We should be able to set the function. Or better yet, the better system to this would be if we could just directly set the actual functionality in the UI builder. But we can't do that because, you know, why we just can't have nice things. Unity does not give us nice things ever. Which is dumb, right? Because it's a button. Like, you should be able to add functionality to a button. As far as I know, I can't change that though. Yeah, I am pretty certain that you cannot change that. Which is so annoying. If we can't change that, then what we're going to have to do is... I mean, we could just remove the clicked, I guess. Like, minus equal... I don't know if it works like a list, like if I can just do a -1 or something. I don't think so, no. Let's see. I mean, yeah, one option is just doing minus equal, I guess. Really don't like that, but... Is there another option? Let's see, the only other option is literally... assign. I mean, in fact, we could probably just assign it, right? Like, as far as... Okay, if we're being practical, right? If we're being practical, we should not be setting this every time we open the Arsenal. It's just I don't want to make this messy by doing every single functionality for everything. We might... I mean, I think we're going to move everything to a separate script anyway, so if we're going to move things to a separate script, then we can go in the start menu, I guess. We'll make a region dedicated for Arsenal. Just so that it's at least somewhat clear until we move to another script. And then we're going to just run all the same code that we've been doing. So, you know, get the team viewer. Visual element. Team viewer. And then and yeah, we'll just grab them and chuck them up here. Oh, and we need to get the slime button again. What happens if program says move forward but also move backwards? Would you be still or would the game crash? It depends on how you code it. The game will never crash if you have conflicting orders. It'll either overwrite one or it will run both. So for example, let me just quickly go team viewer I as button. That'll fix all that. Okay. So as an example, for the way mine is set up, which is set up through the input, like Unity's input system, move is a vector 2, and it automatically handles left and right, back and forward. So for me, if I were to hold forward and then just hold S, I stop moving. Right? If I start holding S and then hold forward, right then left, you just stop, because basically it nullifies both vectors. If you code it through an if statement, where like if key W is pressed, move forward, else if key S is pressed, move backwards, then it'll just run forwards. And if you hold S, it won't do anything because the first if statement's running. So it just depends on how it's set up. For us, you'll just stop moving. Okay, we need to check out now. If I spam click the Arsenal button, it should work fine. So we spam this, and then I press it once, and only one runs once, which is good. Now we select the slime, and the data shows. Awesome. That's exactly what we want. And now I select another slime and just nothing happens, essentially. And then when you select that one, it would refresh. If you had 2 slimes, it would do both. Great. That's the Arsenal menu, essentially. Or at least everything that we can add for now. That's great. The only thing left to do for today, because it's pretty much near 2 hours of streaming now, we're going to make it so that we can actually open the Arsenal menu instead of it just being permanently on our screen. And also make it so that you can't move when you have the menu open. So that'll be the next steps. Let's clean up a bit of the code and then we'll do that. We can get rid of the index log. That should be fine. And then here, let's just go and set up slime button functionality. And we'll get current index. Functionality. Okay. Cool. So let's re-enable locked camera mode, because the menu's not going to be on by default. With that said, let's disable the player menu. Yep, we'll disable the player menu. Then we'll go to the do we want to disable it? Should the menu? No, the menu manager should be handling it all, so we should keep that up. Okay. Then the other way to do it, we could just straight up disable the UI document, I guess. That's one way to handle it. And then essentially in the menu manager, let's close all of this. We'll have an on update. And we'll essentially just detect for each key. So let's add new inputs, because I don't think we have any yet. So let's go to the UI tab. And we can make a new action. We're going to call this Arsenal menu. And that is a button with the binding of what should we have as our keybind for opening the Arsenal? And it has to be, like, you're not going to open it too often, right? So it shouldn't be anywhere near your left hand. So it could be maybe like K or J or L, maybe. Might do J for now. I'm not sure. I mean, we can always just change it later, right? So it's not an issue at all. So now, E. So the issue is, one, you're not going to open it too often. So you don't want those type of keys where the player's hand on the keyboard is, so on the left side. And also, when we press E and Q, we actually cycle between the Arsenal on the left side of the screen, like the team viewer. So they're already used. P, we could do P. There we go, UI, P. I mean, we'll pretty much reassess all of this as we build, and, you know, we'll do like a final keybind check in the future. So you can make it customizable. Yeah, it will definitely be customizable. Pretty much any good game should have a customizable key binding. For now, though, yeah, we'll leave it at P. I think that'll work. So then we will check for the Arsenal press, I guess. So what we need to do, I need to remember how we actually do that. Let's see. We have it here. We're gonna need to get that on start. Okay. Let's just copy over some of this code so that we have the input set up. Cool. So now we're looking for input UI Arsenal menu dot is or was pressed this frame. And in that case, display Arsenal. And we can actually remove the brackets around here because it'll just be a one-line thing. So, open Arsenal menu. And then in the display Arsenal, what we'll do is we'll say menu UI dot transform. No. There should be like an active function enabled, I think. So that is true. So now enable menu UI. I think that the Arsenal button should be in range to the main moving buttons. Should be in the range. Well, so the issue is, right? Let's imagine that you're running around as a player, and we'll also test if this works now, but let's say you're running around as a player, right? And what do you need to access, right? Like what are you gonna do while you're running around? Well, you're going to cycle between your Arsenal stuff. So we have that on E and Q because that's as close to your two fingers essentially, right? Like just as close to your hand as possible. You'll also need to be able to throw and pick up your slimes, right? So hold right click, left click. That's easy enough. That's just that's your mouse buttons. When it comes to things like your Arsenal button, like to open the whole menu, you're never going to do that while running, right? You're never going to be like running around like this and then all of a sudden go press P, That did not work, so we'll look into that. But press B and have the arsenal pop up. There's no need for that. And if we go to add a new feature, right? If we wanted to add like proning, right? So lying on the ground. If we need that mapped probably to like X or C. So if we already filled up everything around your hand with menus, then you're not going to be able to easily access a keybind for proning or any other actual feature that you'll need while running. So you just want to make sure that it's as good for the user as possible. And the question is, why does this not work? Let's just run a test here. Menu UI should be, I mean, it is disabled right now. If we enabled it, just to make sure that it's initialized on start, and then disabled it in case that's a problem, and I press P, nothing's happening. Okay. So what that tells me is the actual UI input map is disabled. I would say that this gets disabled then when the player's moving, I guess. So we can move this. We'll just cut it and we'll bring it over to player, like so. Move that to the bottom. And we'll also add in not an action. Let's delete that. We should be able to have a grouping somewhere. I thought there's a grouping option. Is there no grouping option? Maybe not. I mean, we can just try this, I guess. Player, Arsenal menu. I mean, that should work either way. So we go to the game view, disable the UI document so we can actually run around. And now I press P. There we go. Our Arsenal shows up, which is good. And then we can select our stuff. So now what we need to do is just disable the camera, basically, right? Disable the camera and the player movement. So the way to do that, and technically we could pause the game. I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, we'll see. I don't think there's any need to pause the game when you open menus. So if we don't need to do that, then all we should do is basically get the player movement controller, and then we'll go get the camera separately. Get player movement controller. And then get the player camera controller. Which, for that one, we need to actually get... I guess we can go player camera controller. Controller should be equal to... And we'll just go to the player transform dot find child. Can we just find? No. Yeah, I don't think you could do that. Yeah. Stopping the game is the holy grail of speedrunning, I think. Yeah. If you manage to break the game, I mean, kudos, you know? Like, That's basically the final thing you could do, and especially as a speedrunner, because you've pretty much done everything. The last final step, break everything. Let's see if we can find the child by name. Is it just .find or? Okay, I think it's just .find, not .find child. .find, and our camera is just called player camera. And this is, by the way, not a good system to actually get game objects. So we might need to change that again. We have a lot to change, but for now it'll work. And disable player movement. Enable. Disable camera movement. False. And maybe in control is a better phrase. In control. And we also need to change the lock type. So cursor lock mode. Where's my camera controller? We'll set the lock state. And basically we're just gonna give you free movement again. So dot none. So no more locked. Why is cursor not working? Oh. Unity engine.cursor. Okay. Game breakers are not speedrunners. They're different kinds of players who try to break the game just for the sake of it. I mean, that's true, but the game breakers will figure out how to destroy the game. Speedrunners will have to use the information from the game breakers into how can they get through the game faster. So they work together, technically different, but you know, similar enough. Let's get the movement controller. And what we're going to do, we don't need that, is we're going to go ahead and add in a new Boolean, which is going to allow the player to either allow them to move, i.e. being in control, or not. So, easiest way to do that would be, let's just make a general variable. We don't technically need a hide inspector because we're using a custom editor, but it's good practice too. And we'll just say in control. Oh, sorry. Public Boolean in control. And we just need to add this as like an overarching if statement. But the question is where? I mean, the other option, right? We could just pause the game. We might just pause the game. Now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, look, pausing the game's not hard, right? Like, imagine all you'd have to do to pause a game is set the time scale to 0. And that's it, that your game's paused. I mean, if you've coded things correctly, most things should run on time.delta time. So, set timescale to 0, game's paused. We're going to say pause game. Then, if we're going to do it that way, all we need to do, we still have the lock state. Well, let's just see if this works or not, I guess. Let's hit play. If this works, we'll just we'll move it to a separate function because we need to be able to unpause the game, so we just want that stuff clean. So press P, and I can't move, but I can look around because your camera doesn't use time .delta time, which makes perfect sense. So that is good. So then all we have to do is we'll bring this into just the main if statement so that they're a bit separate. We can display the arsenal. And we're going to move pretty much all of this code in as well. For a player, it would make many fights also easier because they can calmly change their stuff. That's true. I mean, the thing is, you're just not going to have too many fights in this game, right? Like, yeah, you can, I guess, have some conflict with some of the slimes, but like it's not like a Souls game, right? Where you're about to be hit with a great sword, so you quickly pause the game and you're like, okay, let's heal up. Let's figure out what I'm doing. Let's set the lock state and plan the next move. Yeah. Okay, let's just ignore the player controllers for now. Actually, we will still need to get the camera controller because you just have to disable that separately. So we'll do that. The rest of this can be deleted. And what we'll do, because you don't want to repeat code, and we're going to have to repeat this for every single menu, we're going to go ahead and make another set of functions. And we're going to call this open menu, I guess. Let's see. Okay, no, yeah. Open menu. And we can have that as a private void because nothing else is going to call it except for inside this script. Souls games is for the gods, not for the common kind. Fair enough. I haven't actually played one. I tried Dark Souls 3, but it was on like an emulator. Not fun to play. Just the emulator was not good for PC. I wanted to get Elden Ring. I forgot to get Elden Ring, and I never looked back. So it lived and died very quickly. Okay, open menu. What we'll actually do is we'll call that open pause menu. I think that's a little bit clearer. And basically, if the pause menu is already open, we're going to disable it. And if it's closed, we're going to enable it. So open might not even be the right word, frankly. You know, we can just do display. I don't like the word display in this context, but, you know, it's close-ish. I haven't, and it still looks hard. Yeah, I have a thing where I just don't tend to play old games. Like, once, if I didn't get the game within, like, the first year, I tend to just never end up buying them. It could be a fun game. It really probably is. I just... it feels like if I'm gonna spend my money, I might as well go buy, like, a brand new game, right? One that everyone's actually playing. Lock cursor. And let's go ahead. What we'll do is basically, if the menu UI is already enabled, then we're just going to close the pause menu. And otherwise, we're going to open the pause menu. Simple as that. So if menu UI is enabled, which is equal to true, otherwise, run this. So, and I mean, we might change the order just because I think it's a bit easier to understand, right? You're going to be opening first, then closing. So that's false. Okay. There we go. And let's see, we enable it. We're going to pause time not pause game. Lock the cursor. Yeah, just lock cursor. And then we're going to go get the camera controller. And we're going to pretty much just stop movement. So this one is going to be disable camera movement and player camera controller dot in control is false. And then in the camera controller, we'll make a public, so we'll hide this, hide in inspector. We'll go ahead and make a boolean for in control. And as simple as possible, if you are not in control, no need to run any of the code. So we'll just return. Simple as that. And let's add a comment. If the player is not in control, skip. Or, yeah, we'll just say return. That's fine. That should work. Nope. Why is that not on? I made it private. That makes sense. It should be public. And now, in control. And then we're going to just run the exact same code. Menu. But in reverse. So we're going to hide the menu UI. We're going to reset the timescale to 1. We're going to relock the camera. And we're going to allow the camera to move by setting it to in control. So now, theoretically, we're going to hit P. It's going to open the menu. And we're going to hit P again, and it's going to close the menu. And I already can't move my mouse. We need to set in control to true by default. Now it should work. We'll see. You can make secret enemies that are super hard to get more plays. Maybe. I mean, like, look, it really depends. I do not have everything fleshed out, right? So just as we go, we're gonna go, what does a specific region need, right? Like, we got to make a volcano. Okay, what does a volcano region need? What type of enemies? What type of creatures? Is it just the slimes? You know, what type of hazards, obstacles, all of that. Okay, we press P. I can move my mouse, but I can't jump, I can't move or anything. Then I can select slime types. Press slimy. There we go. I can see the data. I press P. And I launch into the sky. That's interesting. Okay. We'll need to look into that. Basically what's happening is we have time off. So we're spamming jump and we're always on the ground. Then we let go of P and we launch. That's not what's meant to happen. So we'll fix that. Also, if we hold right click and just throw our slime, then we press P, our slime does not show. That is good. And it reset our information tab. I don't even remember if we coded that. That's good. So all we have to do now then is fix the fact that we just launched into the sky. The easiest way to do that is basically put an in control boolean here as well. It's the easiest way to do it. I'm not sure if it's the cleanest per se, but definitely the easiest. So we'll make a public boolean called in control again, and that should always be default to on, just because once you start, you should be able to move. Then we'll go in update, if let's use the same wording. If the player is not in control, return. In control, return. And return. There we go. I think that makes sense. I mean, there's no need to run any of this code if you're not in control of the player. And this, by the way, this goes for well beyond pause menus. So every time that you want to add an ability that like sticks the player and they can't move, you simply just set in control to false. Press P, select Slimy. I also want to check if I press, like, go select the arsenal, or if I go out and in. Oh, that. In. I don't know why that has hidden itself, actually. I'm selecting arsenal, that's not showing. Okay, that's a problem. But I spam spacebar a ton, press P, and I still launch. What? So we did something wrong. If you're not in control, return. Oh, I didn't even set it, did I? No, I didn't. I am stupid. Okay. Get. Let's put that after the camera. Get movement controller. Disable player movement. Oh. Enable for down here. Just make sure the comments are correct. And then we'll copy that up here and set this to disable. The one thing we do want to avoid is setting in control in like every script imaginable. So we might make like a global player manager, I think, because if you're doing this, it's really easy to lose track. I think camera and movement should be separate because, I mean, you're obviously going to want to be able to, you know, press. You want to be able to get stuck in something, can't move, but can look around, right? So they should be separate, but you don't want too much, otherwise it'll get messy very quickly. As far as when we pressed P twice, our slime disappeared, so I'm not too sure why that happened. Display Arsenal. We'll get our Arsenal manager and display it. So let's just see what happens. We have Slimy in our first slot, so we press P. He's right there. Press P. And again. And he's gone. Where's Slimy going? I don't understand. Well, we're losing Slimy every single time. It's got to be the skip. So the question is why? Let's try it, I guess. Check the index number first. Because if the index number's wrong, then we know why. Or at least where to look. Is it true that programmers don't touch the programs that work in the fear of messing it up? It might be true for some programmers. I have gotten very used to... I think we're missing one. I've gotten very used to just... If it's gonna break, it's gonna break. Right? It doesn't matter if you're the one touching it or not. It's gonna break, then it's gonna break. Okay. So we press P again. It's still 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, okay, the index should be fine. Now, it shouldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4, by the way. I don't know why that's not working. We'll try just removing the -1. But why is the slime data not showing then? Actually, let me make sure, because we should not be doing anything ever that deletes slime data. Like, we're getting slime data here. No, nothing should be touching it. Let's see what this looks like. So we press P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's fine. 1 slime data exists, so we press P again. The slime data still exists. Press P again. Still exists. Why is it not showing that? It is crazy. So the slime data shows, but it just doesn't want to show the actual information, I guess. Interesting. I mean, it's definitely finding them because it's not throwing any errors. That's the thing that doesn't make sense. And this is, by the way, the worst thing that could ever happen for programming, is there's no errors. Why I would prefer if there's an error. This is the issue when you work on things that are working. You don't know if they are working or not. You hope they are. The visual element's all there. It's not... These are different elements. Why are these different? Heh. You know what? I reckon it's trying to get the slime data from information panel. That's what I would bet on. Like, if we go... Wait, no, we don't have a slime icon, though. What? Because we have a very clear, like, width, height... Width should not be 150. We put this at... maybe. No. Height should be 200. So, like, all of these are wrong. I don't get it. Maybe you're missing a word. Well, what's confusing is it works normally, right? Like, on the first press, it works. It's just the last press, or, like, any future press. And the slime data is still showing, so that skip statement's not an issue. The only thing I can think of is the slime icon is wrong. And like the data's just being set differently. I just don't know why that would be happening. Let's see. Every time we press Arsenal menu, it just displays Arsenal. But we go through the team viewer, display it all. And if I just check the height of this, okay? Let's just see what the style.height says. Maybe wording. I mean, wording shouldn't break it like this. Like, for it to work once and not again doesn't make sense. Okay, all three of them are null, so style.height doesn't even do anything. Background image, we can try that. I mean, that'll tell us something. Press P. null, and then the image, then we press P again, and the image. What? It's like it thinks the image is there, it's just not showing us the image. That's weird. Man, if this was HTML, I could actually like click in it. The issue is because it's the UI builder, I can't actually see the current active state of things, which is making it really hard to debug, especially when it tells you that it's all correct. My only thinking is that the UI document's not enabled. Like, okay, if we were to go ahead and go display pause menu, and let's ignore this, right? Menu UI, let's say it's always enabled. What can cause a loading error? Well, the only thing that can cause a loading error is that things are not loaded at the correct time, right? So if you check the debug log, it's just not accurate. Okay, here we go. So I'm spamming P, and it's all working. Which means that the issue has got to be basically that the UI document's being closed, and then you're pressing P, and you're reopening it. You're reopening the document, and it's being reset, right? So we press P. Okay, that's... It's fully clearing it. I mean, that makes sort of sense. Vaguely. Is there another way to change the display then? Dot... I don't think so. Then, we only have one option. And it's an annoying option, but it's actually not too bad. Basically, we're just going to do this. We're going to get the root, which is this here, menu UI root visual element. And we're just going to disable that. And I'll explain why if this works. Display style. And then I guess the only way to handle that would be the root itself, which is the panel, essentially. Disable that from here, which is really dumb. But if we do that and rerun it, basically what's happening is every time you, I guess, enable, disable a UI document, it resets the document. And after it resets, your referencing is going to like the wrong version. I guess it's like making a copy. Okay. It's showing that it's working, but I'm not seeing my object. We could try getting the panel, I guess. Let's see if that works. Root query panel and query panel. See if that does anything, I guess. This way, we're just hiding the display of a specific panel that's, you know, holding over everything. It's still not working. It's... We did hide it on display, right? Yeah, display none. Let's just debug log it, I guess. We'll see if that works. So press P. It's not even running in the debug log. Well, I get why. Hold up. Hold up. I remember what we did. Maybe? Actually, no. I don't remember what we did. I thought we like commented out display pause menu for a second. No, we did not do that. What? The debug log just doesn't even exist? What is going on? I mean, we can try. Well, no, because like it's literally not even running. That's what's weird. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I got it. I got it. Let's get rid of that. Okay. We're still checking if menu UI is enabled up here, but we're going from menu UI into this. So what we should be doing is basically checking, is the root a display none? Otherwise, it basically is enabled. So let's see. This should work. Please. Please. We press P. I mean, our cursor shows. So that's a step in the right direction. What that tells me then is that we do need to actually grab that query still for the panel. Which is dumb. But I guess. Sure. So we just did that. Let's see if that works. Press P. There we go. We have them. Press P again. And again. And it keeps showing. Awesome. Great. Now we do have a weird thing where it starts as off, but when you press P for the first time, it's still off. So I don't know what's going on there. So let's have a look at that. But basically, if the panel, so if the pause menu is set to none, enable it. Otherwise, set it to none. I mean, that makes sense to me. I don't... We hit play. And essentially, our first time we press P, it does nothing, as if we are unpausing. And then we press P again, and it shows. Which... I mean, the panel's display is off. Like, we're not changing visibility. It is display. We could try visibility. Why not? It makes more sense anyways, I think. Visibility dot... if it's hidden, then we want to set it to visible. Otherwise, we want to set it to hidden. That makes sense to me. Let's see if it works. I actually don't know why it's still showing here, though. What? I thought we set visibility. Oh, visibility only affects that one, though? This is so annoying. Wait, what? Why does that work? What? See, now that's just confusing. Okay, yeah, that's... We can't do that. It has to be display. Has to be display. The only other option is because it's already... No, I don't know. Yeah, what we'll do... Easiest way to figure this out is we'll just debug log the styles display from here. So menu UI dot root visual element, query the panel, and query its display type. If it's none, it should be getting set to flex. So let's see. This will be when we first hit P. That's P. It says that it's null, so it's not finding it, is the issue. Okay. Best way to check that then is, let's see if it's already finding the root. If it has the root element, we might just need to break up the steps. Okay, so it does have that. So for example, if I were to say, get a visual element, call it root, menu UI root visual element, like so, then we're querying from the root, like this. And the reason why you do that is you're breaking up the process. It's finding the root, we have the root. Then it's finding the panel from that. And sometimes code can be weird and it likes to be broken up. I mean, you don't want it to be too complex all in one line, right? So let's see. P? Still nothing. Okay. Query the visual element panel. Is it that it's not finding the panel? I just don't get that. No, it's definitely finding the panel. So it's purely the display style that it's not able to find. That is confusing. Yeah, just sets to null first. Well, the other option then, all we have to do, easy solution. All we have to do, chuck another statement here. So put an or statement and check, is the panel display none? So add null. Because if it's null, we can just assume that it's off, right? Makes sense to me. So we're here. We press P. Or not. What is going on? Change the order, maybe? Oh my god. No, what? the display is null, then it should be running this. I don't understand. Because we know that it's getting the actual panel itself. So it's purely just about getting the style. Like, it's not even running this. When we know we know by debug logging this that it's saying that it's null. And then we run it and check if it's null, and it doesn't say that it's null. This is insane. We press P. It says null. Is that a string? That might be a string. Null? No. Is there... there's no other display styles. Okay, display dot get type. Let's figure this out. Because it's clearly not actually null. I mean, that's an uppercase N. So it's a display style of null. Display style dot null. That doesn't exist. Does that make sense to anyone? Okay, maybe we're able to just check value, apparently. If value is display style none, that's a very strange, like, that's just strange, right? But let's see. We press P. Nope. That doesn't do anything. Okay, let's debug log the display.value type, and let's just debug log the value itself. Let's see what this shows. And if this still shows as null, I will be very confused. So we press P. Flex. It's showing that it's already on flex. But it's not, because it's hidden. I mean, we have a different value now, so that's good. the question is, why does it think that it's flex when it's not? Okay, maybe apparently we can go resolved style or something. What? One problem, 1,000 ways to mess up. Exactly. Okay, resolved style dot display value. No, can't do a value, but dot display. Okay, apparently maybe this will be good. Maybe. Can I just... Okay, we can't set it directly, so we'll leave that as just dot style. I mean, let's see if this works, I guess. We press P. Okay. Again. Finally. Ugh. We finally have it working. That was painful. That was very painful. Now that we have that working, I want to get to bed because it's been a 3-hour stream and I wanted to finish an hour ago. But the first thing, just before we head off, is I'm going to make it so that this menu here, where it shows all the information on the slime you selected, when you press P, it's going to hide. I also want Arsenal to actually have that selected highlight when you press P. So let's quickly do those two so I can get to bed. So what we need to do is... Let's start with the information tab. That'll be the easiest, right? So that's in panel, Arsenal tab, information panel. We got his answer to your prayers. Yep. He's saying, get to bed by 11. It's 10:54. We got 6 minutes to figure this stuff out. So on display Arsenal, that's the team viewer. So let's handle that separately, and then we'll go to the information panel. Information panel. And we'll go get the Arsenal panel, and we'll query the information panel, and then simply hide information panel. Information panel style display is display mode, display style, sorry, dot none. That's that one done. And then the other thing is switching tabs here. So what we need to do is go get menu tab. We can do that at the top. That one's easy. That's just get the menu tab. So that's a button. Menu tabs is equal to menu tabs dot get try get value. No, I can just do it directly here, can't I? Arsenal dot is that not it? What? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at menu tabs. What am I doing? Tab buttons. There we go. Then simply select tab. Actually, easiest thing to do, switch tab. We can make this a multifunctional thing. So we'll make a boolean, call it show data, I guess. And basically, if show data is true, then we'll display the tab, like the actual information. Make sure that you don't work yourself to death. Yeah. Would be nice, wouldn't it? Then we can essentially switch tab buttons by calling that same function. We call Arsenal. We're basically making a loop here, but we're putting it as a false to end the loop. And then where we also call switch tab, which is all the way up here, we set that one to true. That should work. So let's see if this works. And if it does, we can get to sleep. I wouldn't say on time because it's an hour late, but we can get to sleep. Okay. We press P. The tab's open. That's good. Great sign. I open data. We open the Arsenal and it disappears. Data again. Press P. Press P. And it's gone. That's it. That's the Arsenal system done. There's nothing left. Our Arsenal system is pretty much complete. We have our swap menu on the left for gameplay, where you can throw your slime. You can see the abilities they have. We don't have abilities yet, so they're just not functioning. But you can throw your slime. You can pick up your slime. And we have our Arsenal menu, where you can see all of their data. That's perfect. That's all we need. So, with that said, the next stream, and I'm not going to put a time on it, because the last time I said, like, tomorrow, and then it was a week later. But the next stream, I want to try to get some animations added, right? Try to get the character going, just to make it a little bit more polished, right? Like, when I'm running around here and I hold right click, I know that I'm aiming because I can see the abilities, but that's not great. Like, I'd like some feedback, and same thing when I throw. After that, once we get animations added, the next step will be to create some new slime types. That'll be fun. We'll be creating a few different types. So our main types for the initial testing needs to fit these various abilities in one way or another. So who knows? We might start with like an ice slime. I feel like that could be cool. We might also just start with one that can explode, because that would be fun. So I'm not sure. We'll do that after we get the character animations in. And I'll start working on compiling all of these streams and some of the stuff I did before into a devlog video, so that I can upload that on the channel as an actual standalone video. And once we got that done, the next step will be actually creating the levels. So we'll get started. We'll try to create like one good zone, you know, get some landscaping done, create rocks, create some mushroom trees, all of that. But that'll be for the future. We still got another stream at least to create the animations and some more slime types before we think about it. So stay tuned for that. And with that said, I'll see you guys all next time.